We have Jake Tapper, we have JD Vance, and the way that JD Vance basically decimates every point that Jake Tapper makes, you would have thought this was the WWE, brother. I'm just gonna be honest. We're getting right into it. It gets crazy, it gets wild. Without further ado, let's rock.
Okay. And he did because they weren't doing their job. But this is the thing, Jake. We've now spent 5 minutes talking about people in Donald Trump's staff
who think he's not fit for office.
He fired.
Who think he's not fit for office.
Oh, they didn't think he was unfit for office until they had a falling out with him because he fired them. And we're not talking about the public policy.
Well, we're actually
talk about how Americans can't afford groceries.
We're actually
Can we talk about the fact that Americans can't afford the cost of housing?
We're actually
Can we talk
talking
about the fact that a lot of people out there in Erie, Pennsylvania, they're the ones who suffer and die when people like Mark Esper and Mark Milley don't obey the commander-in-chief's orders.
We're talking about Donald Trump and what he said.
Yes.
And Donald Trump says...
And you'd much rather talk about what Donald Trump allegedly said than what Donald Trump did in office.
I'm talking about
what he did in office, Jake,
what he said publicly.
1.5%
he wants to use
inflation.
The military to go after the enemy within, which is the American people.
He did not say that, Jake.
The enemy within?
He said that he was going to send the military after the American people. Show me the quote where he said
he was going to. He said the enemy within.
He said far left lunatics. He's talking about people
Pelosi's
rioting
and Schiff.
He's talking about people rioting after the election. I think
the Pelosi's were rioting after the election.
He said
Adam Schiff was rioting after the election.
You're using two separate phrases. He said about using the.
I just can't get with the, oh, he said this, oh, he said that. Like, I agree with JD Vance. What did he do? Like, what did he do, though, right? They never want to talk about the do. They always want to talk about, oh, he said this, oh, allegedly. But when it comes down to that action, they run to the woods. They run to the forest. They're out of here, right? And obviously, just going to keep it real, I mean, the country spoke, and I think they could see through this BS, if you ask me. Back to the video.
Military. That far-left lunatics, people who riot in the wake of an election, people who burn down American cities in the summer of 2020, yes, we should have a federal law enforcement
This is what
response.
He said to Joe Rogan on Friday. The enemy within that he wants the military to go after.
No, this is
the enemy within a bigger problem than Kim Jong-un.
The second part.
We have people that are really bad people that I really think want to make this country unsuccessful. That's who the enemy within.
And did he say that he wants to use the military against those people?
Here's the game. Use the military to go after the enemy within.
Here's the game that you're playing. He said that
playing a game.
No. Can I answer the question, please? He said that he wanted to use the military to go after far left lunatics who are rioting, and he also called them the enemy within. He separately, in a totally different context, in a totally different conversation, said that Nancy Pelosi and Adam Schiff were threats to this country.
Were the enemy within.
Were
the enemy within. He said they were the enemy within.
So every time he uses the exact same phrase, we assume that he uses.
I don't know. I don't throw around the term of enemy within to talk about using the military against going American people.
And you're asking his vice president, but you won't let me answer the question. I'm telling you that Donald Trump has said, and I agree with him, that we should use the U.S. military to go after
Americans.
People who riot, who burn down our cities.
And this was what John Kelly was.
National Guard.
This was what John Kelly was alarmed by. The idea of using the U.S. military to go after Americans. That's what he said.
Donald Trump never said Americans writ large. You keep on putting words in his mouth and my
mouth. Or are they not Americans?
Far left people who commit acts of violence, who riot. And
now you're doing a very narrow definition of what he said, which is not what he said. That's not what he said. But let me ask you. Let me ask you the bigger point.
He did say that, Jake. He did. He said that he wanted to use the U.S. military. Let me clarify.
To go after far left lunatics. Yes, and then he also added
people who were rioting and looting.
And
he never said.
He added Schiff. And then he added the Pelosi's. And then he added people that don't want the country to succeed.
He said that Adam.
But hold on, I'm just trying to understand, guys. Even if they are Americans, I don't know, like, if they're looting, if they're rioting, if they're vandalizing, if they're hurting people, you need to settle that down. You got to calm that down. You need some. I mean, how much? Let's just be honest, okay? How many cops are ready to go, right, at any given moment? Maybe a handful. You're talking about riots. You're talking about a whole bunch of people. You're talking about maybe hundreds of people, right? Were you going to get 5 cops? And here's the thing I'll give to JD Vance. Obviously, I agree with him. But I would have just been like, okay, they're hurting people. They're vandalizing. They're destroying people's businesses, right? And by the way, yes, we need help. If it takes military might, whatever it takes, we got to get the job done, right? Come on now. Back to the video,
Schiff and Nancy Pelosi, he used in a separate context and a separate conversation. And what you're doing is you're smashing two totally different conversations.
Fox asked him about this last week, and he didn't take issue with it. He said the enemy within is the biggest threat to this country.
But did he say the enemy within, that he's going to use the military against Nancy Pelosi? Donald Trump offered Nancy Pelosi the National Guard on January the 6th, and according to private emails, she rejected it.
So let's talk about things that he wants to do that are feeding into this concern that people like John Kelly and General Mattis and General Milley have. He said on Friday, Special Counsel Jack Smith should get thrown out of the country. He's threatened to arrest election officials who cheated. We know that he believes a lot of people cheated that did not cheat.
Yes, if you violate the law, you should be arrested. Yes.
No one disagrees with that, but he's talking
about... you do, based on the way you're asking the question.
No, based on the fact that he's accused people that didn't break the law of breaking the law when it comes to the election. And if you want to revisit that, I'm happy to. But Liz Cheney, he said, should be put before a war tribunal. None of that sounds fascist to you at all?
No, of course it doesn't.
Putting Liz Cheney before a military tribunal?
First of all, I don't buy into the premise of what you're saying, Jake, because I just on things that I know that he said, on things that I know that he said, you're imputing things, you're taking words out of context, you're taking two separate conversations and pretending that they were made at the exact same time. So I'm rejecting the premise of your question. I frankly don't believe what you're saying about Donald Trump's words. If you'd like to put up a clip and actually put him in context, I think the American people would realize that Donald Trump is a hell of a lot more reasonable than the people like Liz Cheney who would like to lie us into war. Now, Jake, we also have to remember, I mean, step back a little bit. Well, ask yourself a basic question about network integrity. You guys talked about the Russia hoax nonstop.
The FBI was investigating it. The FBI was investigating it, and so we covered them.
And so you took the words of unnamed FBI agents and put them on your network as if they were the gospel truth. You did it again and again. A viewer of your network would have believed that Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin conspired in 2016.
No.
That was totally and preposterously false.
No.
Well, that's
what you just said is false. We covered an FBI investigation. I don't know why you want to talk about the FBI investigation.
You covered it in a way that gave credence to anonymous sources' accusations. You did it yourself. Your network did it, Jake. But again, can we talk about the issues that Americans care most about?
I'm talking about things that Donald Trump has said.
Yes.
If you have an issue...
Buddy. Check this out, right? How is that going to help anybody? Okay, he said whatever he said. Okay, what is that going to do? How is that going to impact change? It's not. It's not. It's literally not. What do you want? Cookies? Come over here. Come. I'll give you a cookie. You want a cookie? Because that's not going to do anything. Back to the video. Back to the video.
With whether or not he's talking about the economy enough, that's between you and your running mate. I'm talking about things he has said this week.
Every single rally that he does, he talks about how he wants to unleash American energy so we can lower the cost of groceries. He talks about the fact that housing has become unaffordable. He talks about the wide open border, Jake. Kamala Harris and her allies, you know, it's interesting. Kamala Harris and her media allies, and I would put CNN in this category. You guys,
wouldn't.
You guys seem to care.
I'll tell you that they wouldn't.
Well, they should watch your network more because you guys seem to care more about Donald Trump's past than the future of the American people. We're running this campaign on making the American dream.
I'm specifically asking about how Donald Trump is going to be president in the future should he win, and then we're being told
he's going to pursue economic policies that lower the cost of groceries and make life more affordable again. He talks about it every single day on the campaign trail, and so do I. What you're talking about is an anonymously sourced story, or one guy
nothing anonymously sourced,
or who one guy who is a disgruntled employee.
I told you
where five other people pushed back against him and said that what he said was dishonest. So why don't we talk about the policy that's affecting American citizens and not what Donald Trump allegedly said, according to one guy who's pissed off because he got fired by Donald Trump?
I didn't bring up any of the things that he said. He said, I didn't bring up.
You brought up John Kelly, and that I just described.
I brought up John Kelly's view of Donald Trump. I didn't bring up John Kelly talking about what Donald Trump said about Hitler's generals. I didn't bring that up. I talked about John Kelly's view of Trump based on something Trump has been saying in the last week. So that's what I asked about.
So John Kelly makes accusations that are rejected by 5 people.
Again, you're talking about something I didn't bring up.
I think that maybe implicates his overall judgment. And I think the fact that he has a worldview that's so oppositional to peace and prosperity suggests that he's not an honest arbiter here. This is not a guy, John Kelly, going to brag to Jeffrey Goldberg, who is interested in the American truth or who's interested in telling an honest account of Donald Trump. He's a guy with an axe to grind because Donald Trump fired him and disagreed with him on policy.
So all those 10 people, including the former vice president, Mike Pence, all of these people have this horribly damaged worldview, and they're all just going after Donald Trump because they want to send people into war? That's really your argument?
Absolutely.
It's not like these are conservative.
Absolutely, that's my
These
argument.
are not conservative
Jake,
Republicans. These aren't conservative Republicans who are concerned about Donald Trump. They're not. That's not right.
All of these people, Jake, they came into office thinking that they could control Donald Trump. That when he said he wanted peace in the world,
Pence thought he could.
I'm going to stop him right there. That's his problem. I caught you in the act. That is the problem. It is not. Donald Trump will tell you it's not about Donald Trump, right? It's about the people of this country. It's about how they can better their lives, right? It's about how they can go back and afford groceries again, afford gas again, afford all that stuff again. And now he's been elected president. You know, I mean, it's a good thing this was old. It's a good thing this is old because all of this propaganda, it clearly didn't work. You know, the American people spoke. But yeah, look, these people that act like this, that talk like this, that keep society from growing, right? From a lot of people from getting to where they need to be, because media is powerful. Okay. Media can control a narrative, unfortunately. But the good news is that cable is going out of style, and channels like mine and all these newer channels, right, that are coming up, you know, your Patrick Bet-Davids, all these different channels. And I've said this before on multiple occasions. You could see in this election, those had a way bigger impact than the last one, right? But back to the video.
Yes, he did. And when he found out that when he found out that he couldn't, they all turned on Donald Trump, and a lot of them got fired. And we're running, and we're trying to staff the government with people who are going to govern according to principles of peace and prosperity.
Let me ask you.
They're pissed off about it.
Let me ask you, because we're being told that we're over.
Yeah. One more question, because you have to go to this rally.
You are running to be vice president of the United States.
Of course.
And there is a 50-50 chance, maybe better, I don't know, that you're going to succeed. Are you running to be vice president of the United States, or are you running to be vice president of the red states? Because if you win, and there's a decent chance you will, you're going to be vice president of childless cat ladies. You're going to be vice president of legal Haitian migrants in Springfield, Ohio. You're going to be their vice president too. Are you running to do that?
Jake, of course I'm running to be the vice president of all Americans. I'm running because I want people to be able to afford a good life in this country. You know how I grew up. You know that I grew up in a family where things were often tough. I want, whether you're in a blue state or a red state, whether you're going to vote for Trump or you're going to vote for Harris, I want you to be able.
All right. I just wanted to end it there because I wanted him to get his word out. I was going to end it earlier, but I wanted to get his word out because I really, really wanted to end it a lot faster when he said that nonsense about the childless cat ladies. Obviously, he's supporting everybody, right? You're the vice president of the United States, not the vice president of the red states. What is this guy even talking about? Like, all right. Anyway, guys. Yeah, I don't know personally, I don't know what's going on with dude, but he got to get his act together. Clearly, JD Vance, he rock bottom, this guy, right? Definitely 100%. Like I told you guys, this was like a WWE showdown. He got rock bottom. And yeah, he had literally no points that I could even say, he had an angle. Nope. He got shut down. So that's my personal opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you need the subscribe button and headbutt the like button for more. Till next time. Peace.